Backpack Broadcasting continues to bring you the best original sports content, but now you can get more of the content you love. For as little as $3 a month, you can get access to bonus content, including behind-the-scenes footage and interviews from the Sports Walk, Sideline Stories, or the Ain't Hard to Tell podcast. All this exclusive content comes via Patreon. There are tiered levels of patronage, and each Backpack Broadcasting patron receives exclusive perks. Your support helps Backpack Broadcasting create more of the original content that you love. Visit Backpack Broadcasting's Patreon page and become a patron today. Ain't Hard to Tell podcast. What's up, y'all? Episode 228 coming to you live on what is one of, I would call, the funnest NBA days of the year. Start of free agency will start off in about 26 minutes or so, guys. We officially start free agency, but yeah, we know what's been going on. Tampering's been happening. Dexter Henry, Bryan Fonseca here. We will have guests with us on this podcast. Same people that were on the last podcast with us that will be joining us to talk.
Who better for today? Come on now.
What did you say?
I said, who better for today? Come on.
Yes,
now.
Who better for today? We got the crew here. My man Jamal Murphy will be hopping on with us in 1 second. Also, our guy Jarod Hector. He will be hopping on a little later, and he told me he's got a lot to say about KD. I mean, is anybody shocked?
We know he does.
Shocked? Like, he's got a lot to say about KD here. But we got to bring it first because we're going to get right to it, and we're going to get right into this stuff around KD. If you haven't heard, KD is requesting a trade from the Brooklyn Nets, and I find this hilarious. I do. I really do, people. I find this hilarious. It's too funny. You can't make this stuff up. First off, let's introduce my man. You also know him as the Blackatologist, writes for Anscape. Also, co-host of the Bros Pod with the legendary William Roden. That is Jamal Murphy. Murph, what up, man?
Oh my God, what's up, man? What's up? It's been a long. when did that shit go down?
That was right at about 2:45 today. Yeah. Right about that time.
Ago more. Yeah,
about 2:45. Yo, let me tell you.
3 hours, man.
So I was out at 2:45. I was coming from a doctor's appointment. Went to pick up some food. I come out the food spot, about to send a text. So I have my phone in my hand, and I see the Shams tweet come through, saying that Kevin Durant has requested a trade from the Brooklyn Nets. And my immediate reaction was like, oh shit, this can't be real.
Yeah.
But it was.
Fake Shams account, bro. I looked for the check mark. I stared at the check mark mad different times to make sure it's not the little Twitter bird or like a fake check mark or one of them white symbols that people put on their names. And when I saw
the 7 with the
the 7 or whatever, you know what I'm talking about. And to make sure I didn't get got, and because I don't follow Shams like that because some of his reporting be spotty sometimes. That's another discussion for another day. So when I saw Woj and Haynes, when I got the alerts from Woj and Haynes, I was like, oh shit, like this is actually happening. And I was laughing, and like I was with the basketball news crew, and I told Alex Kennedy, I'm like, yo, start the space, because we were planning on doing a space at around 4:30, 5 o'clock. I was like, start the shit now. And we started it. We had like 2,000 plus in there. We were talking about all the possibilities, and we're going to talk about it some more because some more information has come out about this whole Kevin Durant thing.
Yeah, it's crazy. Murph, I don't know. Well, I sent y'all the text in the group chat. So I know that was probably one of your first times hearing it. Like, and for people, if you're watching this live with us, you know, some people watching with us live, let us know what you think. What do you think about this Kevin Durant trade? It's pretty crazy. We want more people to get in the discussion. Share this video. If you're watching on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, wherever, share it out. We want more people involved. But Murph, what did you think about Kevin Durant requesting a trade out of Brooklyn?
Oh man. Well, you know, I was driving and I was listening to Sirius NBA radio. And I think it was Kamla. He was like, "Oh, breaking news," and he says it. I'm like, "Get the fuck out of here!" I was like, "This shit can't be real." I had to pull over. You know what I'm saying? Wait a second. I had to pull over like in Manhattan. But I mean, there's so much to say. But but first, I just gotta say, I was definitely shocked, surprised. I thought I didn't even think even if Kyrie would have like left or had a complete impasse with the Nets, I didn't think that KD was wed to him. So I felt like KD had already made his commitment. He had signed a 4-year deal before Kyrie, before he knew what Kyrie was doing, before even Harden at that time. So I felt like he was basically saying, I'm committed. And, I came from a championship, I came from this championship, this ready-made situation I had in Golden State, even though I played a huge part in it. And now I'm trying to do, kind of build something on my own. Even if he might have chosen that wrong partner in Kyrie, I felt like he was making a commitment, like, okay, I'm here. I'm gonna try to do this. So my first thing is I'm just disappointed in Kevin Durant. Like what are you turning yourself into here? You just you're hopping around franchise to franchise. You just hopping around looking for the best case scenario for you. If things get a little tricky, for a year or so, you can't deal with that. I gotta go. I want to go to a ready-made Miami team, or I want to go to a ready-made Phoenix team. Like what are you doing? Now, as far as for the Nets, I don't, we'll see. To me, it all depends on what they get for Kevin Durant. Like it could be, it could be a good thing for the Nets. I think it's definitely a good thing if they finally get off of Kyrie Irving, and if you had to get off of KD in order to do that, I think it is what it is. I mean, KD's he's 33, going to turn 34 years old, so it's not like he's a 28, 27-year-old KD where it would be a even much bigger hit. So I just, my first, to answer your question, my first thought is just a little disappointment in KD.
Somebody said to me something similar, Murph, in terms of the disappointment in KD, and I had sent this in our chat too. Is like, are we disappointed in KD as much, or is this more of an indictment on Kyrie and the whole era with him? You know what I mean? Because all this stuff that has transpired is kind of because of Kyrie, bro.
But that goes without saying. Like we know that. You know what I'm saying? But he co-signed for the dude. You know what I'm saying? He wouldn't even go somewhere without him in the first place. He came to Brooklyn and said, "Hey, this is the package." And there's a report. Woj put out a report that they still want to play together. Like, are you kidding me right now?
See, that's the part that looks bad, and that's where I kind of got to feel bad for some Nets fans. I just saw one of a Nets fan that follows me said I already came on here hating on the Nets. I didn't even say nothing. I laughed, but I didn't say anything. Like, they're gonna be mad at me. But we got our other guy in here, because this guy, oh man. This is the #1 fan of the KD fan club. He is the president of the KD fan club, and Jamal Murphy knows this very well, very, very well. He is here. He told me to slow play it because he wanted to talk to y'all about KD. That is my man, Jarod Hector. Jarod joins us now. Jarod,
what should be fun?
Why don't you got your KD7 jersey on, man?
Nah, chill. As the great Biggie Smalls once said, not only client, right? I'm the player president of the KD fan club. Look, this whole thing is fucking ridiculous and insane. Like, it is just insanity. Like, this entire thing is insane. And by the way, I want to point this out, and my guys can vouch for me. Put us all back up on the screen again, Dex.
Here we go. I
said this shit was going to happen weeks ago.
He did.
I said, if you are the Nets.
He did.
And I co-signed it.
And there is no bigger KD dude than me. Well, then maybe KD himself. And I'm like, yo, you got to regain control of your damn franchise. You cannot let these. First of all, KD is one thing. Let's put him to the side for a minute. You cannot let Kyrie Irving dictate moves in your franchise. This is a dude who said at the end of the season, yeah, me, Kev, and Joe, and did he mention Sean? I don't know if he said Sean or not.
It don't matter. He said he was co-managing. It don't matter what he said. He said he was co-managing.
Steve, I know that.
He definitely didn't say Steve. We're going to co-manage this franchise. Motherfucker, what? Co-manage what? Like, to do what? You who don't come to work, what are you managing? If you're going to manage things, you have to be there, right? But again, if you're the Nets, you are not getting Durant unless you got Irving. And this is where, Murph, I will agree with you. Listen, y'all know I love KD, but I can also criticize him.
Mm-hmm.
Co-signing or signing your basketball career and tying it to that dude, colossal mistake. Just bad all around. I get it. He's your man. And again, I said this to you guys before. These two dudes, right, view basketball as some high-level art form, okay? That's how they talk about ball. Like it's some kind of like impressionist, like esoteric art level shit. That's how they talk about basketball. When really, it ain't really all that. It's just a game of who can put the ball in the net more than the other person and win. That's ultimately the name of the game, right? But they see it as this art form. And so when you see it as this higher level art form, of course it's easy to fall in love with a dude like Kyrie. It's mesmerizing, right? What that dude does is incredible. He's Van Gogh, he's Picasso, he's all of those things. And just like them dudes, crazy AF, just like they are, right? Don't be showing up to games, be leaving in the middle of practices, saying, now I'm going to go do an extra practice. Like all this weirdo behavior that's like, man, if we're trying to win, that cannot happen. Like we can't do that. If you want to just do your art stuff, man, go play like, I don't know, create your own like M1 mixtape tour and just go run around the country at playgrounds and do that. But if your goal is to win in the NBA, you cannot have that guy be in charge and tied to that dude.
What's your boy doing? What's he doing?
Again, as I said, that it's tying it to this higher level art form. Now, what he realized is when Kyrie opted in, that's as public as KD's going to be, like saying, no, I can't rock with this dude no more. Like in terms of basketball playing. That's still his brother, whatever. We so cool, we boys. But no. Now that whole thing about
you don't think they talk to each other?
They do, but I don't think.
I mean, after Kyrie.
No, they still talk about like
No. I mean, you're saying you think that this KD move was a reaction to Kyrie opting in?
A big part of it, yes, because he realized I cannot play with this dude. Like, because at the end of the day, as much as Kevin Durant's about like basketball's an art form, that dude loves to play ball, right? Like you see it. He don't brush his hair. That dude wakes up in the morning before he does anything, crumples up a sock and is shooting it up at his laundry, right? Like he's obsessed with basketball. Kyrie ain't really obsessed with basketball like that. And so if that's what you are, how are you going to roll with someone who's not all about ball? That don't jive with what you do.
So
right?
why wouldn't he just talk to the Nets and be like, let's move off him?
So here's the other part now, because he knows that Marks and Cy, I think Marks and Cy made this. They're like, no, we're getting rid of that dude. I think the secret here is the Kyrie opt-in wasn't just going to be, all right, Kyrie opts in, he comes back this year. Whether Kevin left or not, I believe they were going to trade Kyrie as soon as they could once he opted in. Because as you know, once he opts in, that's an expiring $36 million deal. So there's any other team that's looking to clear up cap space or whatever, they might say, you know what? I don't care. I'll deal with Kyrie Irving's bullshit for 6 months to clear up cap space, right? Because if we ain't doing anything anyway, right? So they were going to move Kyrie regardless because they knew we can't have this. We cannot. He said it. Joe Tsai and said it. I cannot have a repeat of what happened last year. Because remember, they didn't want Kyrie to play with the whole vaccine thing. Kevin went to them and was like, nah, we got to do this, man. And it's like, why? That dude's bad news. He don't work. He doesn't work. You got to move off of him. So I think that's the biggest thing. So now, Durant's going to get to a point where he's going to a franchise, and it's got to be, and this is a telltale sign for all teams, right? You're going to get into the superstar business. Brian knows this as someone who roots for the Heat. Warriors fans know this. Spurs fans, even though they're not good right now, know this. Memphis Grizzlies fans now know this. Of course you consult your superstars. You have to. That's how this works. But you have to have a hard line about what you will and will not do. The Miami Heat told LeBron James to essentially F off. They were like, oh, you don't want to do it? Cool, you can leave in free agency. I don't care. We'll be fine without you. And look, they are just fine. The idea is you can't think about it like, oh, championships. Championships are a 1 in 30 lottery chance. Most teams are not going to win. That's just not going to happen. But can your team be consistent and relevant? And the Miami Heat, sans LeBron James, have been that, right? The Golden State Warriors are that, right? You can do it, but you have to have a hard line. Yo, I'm gonna let you know what we're thinking, but ultimately, this is what we're doing. If you don't want to roll, that's cool. Leave. We're good with that.
I think you make a lot of good points there on that I like absolutely agree about the culture. And what I would like to say is, listen, and Nets fans out there already have one on Twitter. I'm not clowning Nets fans. I'm laughing at the fact of how ridiculous this is. It is ridiculous. Like, we can laugh at the fact that it's ridiculous, but here's the thing. These guys hitch themselves to each other, as Jarod said. We know this, okay? And then y'all had the contingency plan to bring in DeAndre Jordan, who everybody knew was washed, and play. Okay, fine. That was the cost of business. 3 years, $40 million to bring him in. Whatever. Then y'all got salty, and I'm talking about the both of them, because Kenny Atkinson decided to play the better player, which, I'm sorry, in playing basketball is supposed to be play who's best for the team, right? This is what you're supposed to do to win. Let's bring the Herman Edwards out. You play to win the game. And you out here playing DeAndre Jordan. And then you get the man fired because of that. Okay, fine. Management, y'all went all in on Kyrie. That's what y'all did. You listen to what Kyrie wanted, KD wanted, they're running the show, as Jarod said. Then Kyrie don't want to take the vaccine.
No. James Harden. Go James Harden before that. You trade away your entire control of your draft for 7 years for a dude who's not on the team anymore.
Here's the thing. Most people, Jarod, at the time, that's why I skipped over that. Most people at the time felt like it was a good trade. You putting these 3 stars together.
How's it looking now?
It ain't looking good. But what
I mean, they could get they're about to get all those young type of guys back.
But they're not.
Oh, hold on.
Who? What do you mean?
Wait. Pause the show. We have Jarod here, so we have some breaking fucking news.
Shit. What happened now?
The Memphis Grizzlies forward Jaren Jackson Jr. underwent surgery to repair a stress fracture in his right foot on Wednesday and is expected to be sidelined for 4 to 6 months. Sources tell ESPN. Jackson is expected to make a full recovery. This is from Adrian Wojnarowski, verified Twitter account.
Number one, how did I not hear about this before?
Who is he, Zion?
Number one. Number two, what the hell is happening? Damn, that is a blow.
It's not a good day for you and the guys you like.
He could have been in the KD trade package.
He could have been.
If I was Memphis, I was not going to include Jaren Jackson in the KD trade package.
Wait, what?
No.
Who you included?
Well, okay, so
Desmond Bain?
Of course, you're taking Bain, you're taking Zaire Williams, you're taking picks.
Come on, man, stop.
That ain't enough.
Steven Adams.
That's a funny thing though about this KD trade thing. How everybody's like, all these teams they went in. We're gonna go for KD, but all of them want to keep their best players. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we'll give you everybody, but who? All the real nice guys we got. We'll give you everybody else for Kevin Durant. You know what I'm saying?
Here's the challenge.
What's his name? Your boy from the Heat. He's off.
You can't trade Bam because of the.
I know, but even if you could, you would not have him in there, even if you could.
No. Because the idea is you want to team up Kevin Durant with your best guys, and with respect to Kevin Durant, this isn't 2017 Kevin Durant.
Well, yes. That's it. I just want to get back to something about the Nets management.
Then go back to that trade.
I just want to get back because Jarod brought up the trade, and I'm not glossing over the Harden trade. I'm just saying, okay, they did the trade. You could have your problems with it, and I think it's fair to critique and all that. Fine.
So it's the swaps too, Murph, right? So the thing about it is that the Nets, because of the swaps, have to be a relevant team. Because again, with the swaps, if Houston's better than you, they'll be like, all right, cool. We'll switch with you. You're gonna get the crappy pick. We'll take the higher seed pick. So you have to be good if you're the Nets this year, right? But a relevant team.
I've been on record. I like what Sean Marks has done as a GM. Prior to KD Kyrie. But even with KD Kyrie and the way he built around that team with the limited resources you have, if you have that 3 superstar type of team, I liked what he put around them, especially.
But let me ask you though, Mark,
especially the year before this.
Let me ask you though, would they be? Is KD, Harden, Kyrie better than KD, Kyrie, Jared Allen, Karis LeVert, Spencer Dinwiddie, Joe Harris?
I mean, take Kyrie out.
I think that. I mean, the Houston Harden, yes, and he was basically that same Harden. I mean, they look great. Don't get it twisted. They look great when Harden first got there.
Jarod was picking them. You both were picking them to go to the finals and win it that year.
They were excellent.
They probably would have. I don't know if they
on them.
It's hard to say they win. You can't predict whether you win the whole thing.
Right.
But what they showed when the three played together.
Oh,
I mean, it was ridiculous.
elite.
You saw like they were smashing everybody.
Number one offense in the history of the league. Best net
Even
rating
Joe
by
Harris
far.
looked good with those three guys
Because he hit nothing but open shots. He hit nothing but wide open threes all day.
But guys, when they do the 30 for 30 on this team in like 25 years, because it's going to happen.
No, I don't want to wait that long. I want that shit.
When they do the 30 for 30, it's going to come down to what Jarod was saying in the beginning about management and culture that I actually agree with. They caved in multiple times. And this is what you get. They created chaos, and now you have more chaos.
And
that's the league. You know what I'm saying? That's why I can't get mad at him over the Harden trade because that's what.
I'm not mad at him for that.
Maybe now when not just the Nets but other teams have shown that it's a tough thing to work out. Maybe now you know based on experience of multiple experiences, maybe you don't go that route. So if they did the same thing again, you could be like, okay, they're really bugging. But my point is. Even the trade, the stuff they gave up, and I love Jarrett Allen, for what he is and what he's gonna be. I'm not saying he's, I mean,
he's an all-star center right now.
Second team,
all defense. He's practically all NBA right now.
But I'm saying
at 20,
I expect them to recoup a lot of that when they get rid of KD and maybe something.
They may never get anybody as good as Jarrett Allen right now. They may never get
that. Jarrett we still don't know how. I mean, I like Jarrett Allen. He's a $20 million a year guy. He's not a $30 million.
Let me ask you the question.
He's a lot better than Nick Claxton.
If they had Jarrett Allen this year,
the only reason they have Nick Claxton is because they had the 3 stars. They couldn't spend like that.
Murph, right? If they have Jarrett Allen on this roster, are they a lot better than they? Yes or no? Are they better?
No, not. They're not better than they would have been with a Harden they had when they got him. No way.
Well, here's my thing. I see. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'm not sure the question that you're asking, Jarod, really matters to me because for me, it's about you know what they're better with? Kyrie not on the roster because he's the one who blew it all up. He's the one who blew it all up. He was the problem. You can argue about whether or not they should have had Jarrett Allen or they should have had this. But Kyrie's the reason. Kyrie's the reason that Harden got out of here.
And also Harden, after the hamstring injury, has been straight trash.
Absolutely,
okay? So he's not the same player either. Like you could substitute Kyrie for Harden. We still had Harden right now. We wouldn't be in a great spot either.
But here's the thing: with Harden, bad hamstring, didn't look good. I agree with you on all that, Murph. But I know he'll show up.
Yeah, he'll play. I mean, until he's unhappy. You mean?
But here's the thing: Harden's reason for being unhappy in Brooklyn not reasonable?
No, it's because Kyrie's shenanigans, which, by the way, is hilarious when you think of it. It's like, wait, James Harden, you who acted the fool in Houston, talking about Kyrie shenanigans? Like, right. you the king of shenanigans. But yes, I mean, I think that the idea there being that he was like, look, I took the jab, and I'm James Harden. How the hell are you not taking this damn jab, right? And I think that again. Kyrie out here acting like he's the smartest dude in the room at all times. I know everything about everything. And it's like, bro, nobody wants that shit. Okay. Right. It is hard to win in this league. Really, it is hard to win. You don't need to add things that are going to purposely make it hard on yourself. Right.
And the only reason I don't bring up Kyrie is it's a given that's an abomination. Okay. If you want to pick the one guy who was like the worst for the culture and all that, it was definitely Kyrie. But why was Kyrie there? All because of KD.
Yeah.
So it's really on KD to make that work. You know what I'm saying? Like, or else it's like it'd be like Jay-Z letting Dame Dash bring his career down. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't letting that happen. He was out. That's my guy for life. But I'm out. You're not bringing me down.
Right.
I'm with you. Listen, I again, as I said before, the Kyrie partnership was a horrendous idea from the start. Matter of fact, Dex, I don't know if you remember this. When they got together, and they got Harden. I don't know if you remember. I texted you and said, "You know what the Nets? I would do if I was the Nets right now. Ship Kyrie's ass out of here."
Yeah,
and that was before nothing was going crazy then, right?
I was saying that too. I was saying he should be in the Harden trade.
I was like, ship his ass out right now.
I remember I wrote that too. I was like, let me just also jump in with this because I've just been letting y'all cook. But I just want to say from the jump, I was saying, look, the Nets should just add Kevin Durant and that's it. Now, it was going to be a package deal the whole way. It was going to be Kemba and Kyrie, and then DeAndre Jordan's the homie. So, mid-level, we out here. But, I was saying, if they just added Kevin Durant and kept everything else.
Nice.
Kept Harris, extended D'Lo. You figure that out later. Keep Jared Allen.
Nice.
Keep Joe Harris.
Nice.
I don't know if they would have won a title, whatever the case may be.
They'd be better than this team right now. They got swept by the Boston Celtics.
But you know who doesn't agree with you is KD. He could have.
Well, he's wrong.
Once again, as I've said from the beginning, he's
his own worst enemy.
GM.
Yeah, and here's the thing too.
D'Angelo Russell, really? He's not even safe in Minnesota.
But here's the thing.
But he wouldn't have been the guy here, though, right?
And the Nets are going to get the Nets are going to get a lot of people are going to be dunking on their organization, right? And the thing is, they were actually making strides because they've been through this before, and it sucks that they're going to go back in just a short amount of time. But they rebuilt themselves and had a nice rebuild over a 3-year period where they went from 20 wins to an actual playoff team, a team that actually would have been better if not
42
for injuries
and 40
that first year. 42 and 40. And it's like, okay, they could build on this, maybe become a 48, 50 win team the next year if they just if they add like Tobias Harris or something like that. And then they wound up with Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and DeAndre Jordan. And while they were better, they lost a lot of what made them get there to that point because they had great front office work, good stability. They were identifying players, not a lot of undrafted guys, but guys in the second round, guys who were cast offs from other teams that didn't work. Bruce Brown was somebody that they picked up that I think would have been like a vintage Nets player from that previous incarnation. And then they just totally they just lost the plot and it all went to hell. And now they're talking about they want win now players, so they don't even want like super young and rebuilding pieces and a lot of picks. But not win now to win a championship. Win now, so we're not a 20 win team, right? Because it's a big difference. Because they know that they can't tank, but at the same time, it's like I don't know where you're getting that from. That's another discussion that we're gonna have.
No doubt.
I don't know where they're getting.
And I think Brian, to your point about Durant being his own worst enemy and not understanding, and and I hate to do this, but I got to. You contrast what happened with Brooklyn with what's gone on in Golden State over the last 3 seasons, right? Curry could have easily gone to management and been like, yo, man, these fucking young dudes, they suck. Get them the F out of here. I don't care. Get me Bradley Beal. Get me whoever I need because I'm in my prime today. And I have to win right now, right? That's what LeBron does. That's what every other big-time superstar does in this league, right? With their control. What did he do? He trusted management. And look, there were moments during this season and last season where you saw Steph visibly upset on the floor with those guys. Oh, we got breaking news.
Yeah, we got tons of stuff. We are at 6 o'clock, so officially in free agency
season. Yo, fuck all that other news in the chat. Your New York Knicks did something.
What they do?
Yeah, we can talk about that. But I mean, this is like the worst kept secret in the world. Like,
no. The Knicks, not Jalen Brunson. The Knicks got for 2 years $16.7 million, according to Kelly Iko, Isaiah Hartenstein.
Ooh,
he was rumored to be going to the Orlando Magic.
I like that for them.
So 2 years, 16
in place of Mo Bamba. 2 years, $16.7 million.
So
I was fascinated by.
Noel's already gone, obviously. I
wanted those minutes for Jericho Sims, and I'm kind of disappointed about that.
But we don't know if Mitchell Robinson stays.
Oladipo re-signed with the Heat.
I hadn't heard about that.
Yeah, 11 mil.
Oladipo back to the. All right, so we got
that might be a sign and trade.
DeAndre Jordan to the Nuggets.
DeAndre Jordan to the Nuggets.
To do what? To do
what? Wait. That's ridiculous.
Okay, you know what's going to happen right there. Shouldn't you be excited, Jarod?
Why?
That means KD's probably going to go there. Maybe a little package. MPJ to Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying?
PJ Tucker, 3 years, $33.2 million of Philly.
That was 3 years for PJ Tucker.
Wow, they went in on the bag with that.
Malik Monk to Sacramento.
And Murph,
your career is over, Malik.
So PJ Tucker for a second, like this is why James Harden took less money, and for some reason everybody was commending him, like he's not getting like 40 million or whatever it is anyway in the season.
I mean, there's a little handshake, wink, wink. He getting that money in the back end somewhere.
He and PJ Tucker are tight.
He'll probably get it in years.
He and PJ Tucker are tight. Daryl Morey's over there. And PJ Tucker just never had a deal this lucrative before. So at 37 years old, this is a reportedly fully guaranteed deal.
Here's the thing.
The situation with the Heat,
Yeah.
Was they were eligible to offer an extension that was about 3 years and about 27 million. If they wanted to offer more, they would have had to go into the non-taxpayer mid-level exception, which would have brought them to where Philly is. The problem with that is if they did that, they'd be hard capped. So they've been preparing for life without PJ Tucker. And honestly, I'm with them. I'm like, I'm not paying my MLE to get hard capped over PJ Tucker, even though he was great last year.
He's 40 years old. Like, what are we doing? Like, or he will be 40 at the end of that deal. No, I'm not on that.
I don't know. PJ still gonna be fouling the hell out of people.
I mean, he stay fouling people. That's fine. Book got his extension, right?
Book got his extension. Before we get into some of these, I wanted to ask y'all, because we've had so much action before. What is everybody's expectations? For this free agency? Do we think this is going to be very busy? Do you think we're going to see more trades?
Well,
we've already seen some. What do you think?
As the reality is, everybody knows those deals that just got announced, they didn't just get done 5 minutes ago. They were already done months ago.
What?
Yo,
Gerard, are you crazy?
Wait. I want to share something.
Them agents are working.
What you trying to say?
I want to share something too. A little bit of information, but regarding the Victor Oladipo thing, the reason why I'm surprised by that is, one, he could be used for a trade at some point. I'm not sure if this is going to be a sign and trade, but two, I'm not sure that they're going to bring back both him and Tyler Hero on the roster this season. So if Victor Oladipo is back and stays on the roster,
right?
Shock
of all shocks, by the way, Bradley Beal did his 5-year, $250 million extension. Surprise, surprise. Everybody was like, oh my God, Bradley opted out. I'm like, yeah, so we can sign the Supermax. Dummies.
Anthony Simons, 4 years, $100 million. So Bobby Portis, your boy, is headed
back in Milwaukee,
back to the Bucks. 4 for 49.
And Monk got two for 19. There was talk of him staying. He might stay with the Lakers for 6.5. He got way more than that. And he
2 for 19 from Sacramento.
Yeah, 2 for 19 from Sacramento, and now it's Kentucky backcourt again.
Here's Monk and
I think about it.
So they got De'Aaron Fox.
Sacramento might be better than the Lakers this year. They might have a better record than the Lakers, so he might be. That's a come up for him. That's a one or two game come up.
He had a good season.
Just real quick Dex, to answer your question about free agency and what I expected.
Yeah,
obviously those deals that came in now, they were already done months ago. Now I expect a little bit of on pause until this Kevin Durant situation gets settled, because every team, because let's just be real. As much as I'm like, killing my boy, let's also be real. He is that dude. Okay. So everybody in the league, like, how do I get him? They're trying to figure out how I'm getting this dude on my roster right now.
Today's mid-level day. That's what today's going to be mid-level.
I hate to bring it back to Durant so fast, but just quickly.
Well, do
we know, what do we think? Like, how long could this take? What if the Nets aren't satisfied with the deals by the time preseason comes?
Summer League, bro.
So here's the thing. If I'm the Nets, and I said this, right? Because the way it's presented right now, Durant doesn't look bad, because he went to side, said, look, I want to trade, whatever, and they said, we'll work with you to get you to a package that works for us. We'll work you to get to a good spot. If it doesn't happen in time for the start of the season, he has to show up and be the good soldier. If he pulls that James Harden bullshit, oh no.
Or Ben Simmons.
Or Ben Simmons, that's going to be horrendous on him. That is going to be a terrible look.
Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, we got so Chris Haynes reports that the Jalen Brunson deal with the Knicks is 4 years, $104 million, which is a little bit less. A little bit less than what we figured.
$6 million. Great.
That's about $26 million a year on average. Obviously, we don't know about options and things of that nature. I think Jalen Brunson is like more of an $80-90 million guy.
He's a fine player. I have no issue with that. What I want to know is, what is your plan?
Yeah,
what are you doing with the rest?
I will say this though, and this may be counterintuitive, because like the whole reason he's there is like some mafia family tie shit, because Rick Brunson,
for real,
Leon Rose's kid, the whole thing. But that is a salary you can use for a bigger trade down the line. If you want to do that, you could also use Julius Randle for that. And that's sort of like, to Gerard's point, that's the plan I want to know. Like, is it going to be Lefty City with him, RJ Barrett, and Julius Randle?
Oh, Lefty City. Oh, yeah.
Like, I hate that. Julius Randle has to, like, they have to figure out what's going to be the thing there, because Jalen Brunson wants more touches. And if you're trying to develop RJ Barrett and you're trying to
Jalen Brunson wants more touches.
Jalen Brunson wants more touches, right? And his numbers without
touches.
His numbers without Luka are good. His numbers without Luka are very good. But the thing is, if you have Julius Randle there and RJ Barrett there, like, who are you getting the most out of?
Yo, we talk about Jalen Brunson like he's about to be an all-NBA guard. Jalen Brunson wants more touches. What the hell are we talking about?
And he's gonna run the point, right? So he's gonna have the ball.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I want him to be more of a facilitator. I want him
What's
to pass
the Julius Randle market is what I want to know.
Listen, as I've said a million times, the Julius Randle existed last offseason when you should have signed and traded him when he was an all-NBA player. This season, I don't. Who the fuck wants Julius Randle? For what?
Dex, are you
for who and for what?
Dex, are you like completely like no Julius Randle next season? Like, I don't want to see him at opening night.
I mean, if I see him, I'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? It's not.
Like you're run up on him. Like, if I see him,
it's not like I'm gonna see Julius Randle out in the streets and be, giving him the thumbs down or nothing like that. Listen. My thing about Brunson, and when we talked about it last week after the draft, my thing, this is fine. This deal is fine. They didn't give him max minutes money. Excuse me. They didn't give him max money. The deal is fine as a young point guard. I'm with Jarod on this. What are you doing next? Now, if the Knicks are able in this offseason to dump another salary, especially if that's Fournier or Randall, then I'm a little happier. I do like this Hartenstein signing, and it really makes me wonder, are they bringing back Mitchell Robinson, or are they going to go with Hartenstein and Sims and playing? Because I don't really like playing these centers that are one way. I'm not really a fan of that at all whatsoever. So to me, it's about what's the plan for the Knicks. The problem is, like I said last week, we don't know nothing. We don't hear from Leon Rose. Mm-hmm. They got all the family ties, but nobody can speak. Okay?
Nobody can speak.
I know they should have got DeJounte Murray, man. That DeJounte Murray would have been perfect.
I agree with you. I think he was a better fit. He played defense. I think
way better than Jalen Brunson.
I agree. But you know what? They could have been both. They could have gotten both.
Yeah,
I think they could have gotten both.
A couple things, of course. Nikola Jokic, back-to-back MVP, signed his super max extension. No surprise there. 5 years, 264. I mean, worth it, right? Worth it. By the way, just real quick, going on to the next thing really quick, Dex.
Yeah.
As y'all know, on True Hoop, we came up with a new stat called bonus wins. And when you are an organization and you are trying to field the best team possible, the thing that helps you the best is players on good deals that contribute above their value. I'm going to point to a team that was, terrible in this regard. The Los Angeles Lakers. Russell Westbrook had a $44 million salary last year. He gave the Lakers 3 wins, I believe, based on his stats. The players they shipped out in order to get him: Caruso, KCP, who am I missing? Dex, Kyle Kuzma, and one other player. I forget who. Those players combined for 14 wins this season. Why? Because they make way less money and they contribute. This is the problem when you have veteran dudes and old guys who've done great things when they were younger, and you got them on the back end of their career paying them those super max deals. They don't give you the value you need. And in a salary cap league where I'm already paying Anthony Davis and LeBron James on top of that, I have no room to do anything else. Why were the Memphis Grizzlies so good this year? Because everybody was on a friendly rookie deal, right? So everyone outperformed their number. That's what you got to do. So again, I look back at the Knicks and I say, okay, Jalen Brunson, at 4 years, $110 million, what are the expected wins I expect from you next year? At most, let's say he plays the best he's going to play. He's probably going to be even on that contract, right? He ain't giving me no bonus wins, nothing extra. But at 26 million is already eaten up, and I have no money to get somebody else.
Rod, your Memphis Grizzlies re-signed Tyus Jones.
Yes!
2 years. You out here yelling for Tyus Jones?
No, Tyus Jones.
Tyus Jones is the best backup point guard in the league.
Best backup point guard
in the league.
He ain't no Jalen Brunson.
I got to see a list.
2 years, $30 million.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm fine with that. Especially, look, we're going to need everything we have. My boys out till December. So, no.
What I wanted to mention about your bonus wins
and
your bonus wins and the point with the Knicks, and I read the bonus wins article on True Hoop, really good article, everybody should read. yes, Jarod is right that when you don't get value from these aging stars in the back end of the contracts, this is what hurts you. What's unknown with the Knicks, right, and is key in terms of those bonus wins is not really just solely on Jalen Brunson,
right.
but are the other young guys going to play and then able to get you contributes? Because if you
play them, how do I know?
Right, let's say you play a Obi Toppin, and Obi Toppin comes in and is giving you let's say he gives you 17. Let's say he gives you 17 and 8. Let's say that.
You know how many bonus wins that's going to be? A ton of bonus wins.
And he's giving you pretty efficient numbers. I'm just projecting for a solid bump season and we get some good minutes. Okay, there goes your bonus wins. RJ, you expected to maybe cook a little bit more here, maybe takes another leap.
Is he on a rookie extension? Is he even extended yet?
He's eligible. We'll see. That might be announced.
That might happen this summer.
So he can give you bonus wins too. Your whole roster besides Jalen can give you bonus wins.
Well, yeah, but they got to play.
40
Well,
they got
to play. Yeah, and
you got to play them.
I'm saying it's possible, and there then it doesn't look bad because you're not going to get those bonus wins from like Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle just because of where Evan Fournier because of where their salaries are. You got to get it from the when I say the value players, you know what I mean in terms of good salaries that are actually tradable and have upside before they hit those second contracts. Joe Ingles to the Milwaukee Bucks. There was some talks about him going to Memphis where I thought he could replace slow-mo.
That's
Kyle
the Dante
Anderson.
DiVincenzo quota. They got to fill that back up.
Yeah. The people in Milwaukee.
He might fit there. That's a
Dante,
sneaky little fit.
Dante going to be he's a free agent, so he's going to be in a move. Really quick though, I want to go back to my point I was making about the Warriors, right? So Steph was visibly upset with those guys last year and this year. You could see it. And as upset as Steph's going to get, because he's never going to be the guy who's going to be like, like how LeBron is with teammates. But you see him like laughing, like, come on, like we've gone over this, like you could, because that Golden State offense is hard to, like when you're young, that shit's fucking hard to play in. But they got it finally, right? They didn't panic. He didn't move anybody because he told them to do so. Now look, not only are they champions, their runway looking forward is bright, right? But when you trust your organization and you trust them to do the right thing, that can happen. To your point, Murph, Marks has shown in the past he's a good GM. Why, if you're Durant, do you not trust him to do the right thing?
That's my thing. And also, I mean, look what even getting Simmons back, the Simmons Harden deal, he got a good deal out of that.
Got a pick back. Yeah.
I'm just waiting to see what he does with the Durant deal, because we can't really critique it and say, woe is the Nets until we see what happens.
Right. And they're both gone. We know that Durant's out because he requested the trade, and Kyrie's literally on the next thing smoking. Out of here.
I'm just fascinated if it's actually a package deal.
Any dumbass
Windhorst
team
was up there saying that the Lakers might get them both.
Any team. Well, but that would make sense. You know why? The Lakers are a poorly run franchise. Any team that takes on the both of them as a package deal, given what they saw the last 3 years, deserves whatever happens to them.
What do the Lakers have? What do the Lakers have to give?
Nothing.
Westbrook.
Oh yeah, I can't
Who
wait
wants
for that.
Somebody.
Is that
there's always a sucker.
It's an expiring contract, right?
It is expiring. It is.
But if
you want to clear cap space,
to bring it back to Steve Bell and the KD thing, because before you came on, Jarod, Murphy kind of brought this up, and I want to hear you guys' thoughts on this. Does this affect KD's legacy or the way he's looked at?
Not to me, but to dumb fans it will. Not to me, but to dumb fans it will.
To me it doesn't.
Wait, Jarod.
Here we go.
Okay, here we go.
I hear you, Jarod.
Murph do the voice of the dumb fan now. Here we go.
Jarod, I hear you. It's strictly about basketball. It's all about he's 6'10". He's one of the greatest scorers of all time. But when you look at him, you'll be like, what happened to that when he went to Brooklyn and it was a disaster? Like, what's going on here? Like, what's he doing? Jarod, you're a great writer, great person to have on the podcast. But if you were doing some nutty shit on the side, like, you're not supposed to look at that and be like, "Yo, son, like, what's going on?"
Again, he gets blamed for that for sure. Again, as I did the whole beginning of this. Yes, Brian.
Couple more transactions. The Lakers made a massive change to their organization, signing Damian Jones for 2 years.
Totally nailed the seriousness of that. Loved it. Totally nailed it.
So the Lakers have started off free agency with a fucking bazooka. And the Clippers across the freaking hall Oh, they made a nice deal. Amir Coffey, 3 years, $11 million only.
I like Coffey, and see, he's another one. I think bonus wins. That's a good deal. He's someone who's going to play into it. Look, that kills him from that standpoint, Murph, for sure. Again, in terms of who you are as a person wielding your power, right? Because let's just be clear about what all this is. He's following the LeBron blueprint and has always done that, right? The difference is it worked for LeBron in Cleveland. It worked to a point in Miami until Riles is like, no, we not firing Spo. No, you're not going to do whatever you want down here. This is how we roll. You want to leave, leave. We're good. And they did what LeBron wanted in LA. They won a championship. It was in the bubble, but they won it, right? So it worked. But the ramifications, all that poor shit that happens after, that's what you got to live with. With KD and the Nets, what y'all had was all the ramifications of the poor shit and none of the good stuff, right? Because you had the Kyrie injury, you had the James Harden injury, right? And this is what happens when you bet on old dudes. And again, you cannot let these guys dictate. Because if you ask KD who the best players in the league is, he's going to get you Lou Williams. Again, dudes who get buckets. And I'm going to say to him, who's rebounding? Who's playing defense? Who's dialing on the floor? Because it ain't you. So who's doing these things? Besides scoring, who's doing all the other things you got to do to win? Because it ain't none of the people you like. And this is the problem. But again, and this is when fans follow the same mindset. Oh, you got to have Steph Curry. And it's like, the Warriors won the title. Yes, they had Steph Curry. No Kevon Looney, no Gary Payton II. Shit. No Kevon Looney. They don't beat the Memphis Grizzlies in this conference semifinals. It's margins, but no one sees that.
But also with the fans, the dumb fans and the fanatic thing goes, all different ways because really Nets fans should be happy now because what was the likelihood you were going to win a championship with
not high at all,
or even make a deep playoff run because the Eastern Conference is nice. We have another deal.
Ooh, a big one.
Adrian Wojnarowski, Chris Boucher returning to the Toronto Raptors.
Saw that.
3 years, $35.25 million. That's basically the non-taxpayer mid-level, the full thing.
See,
if that's what it is.
I like him.
I like him. I think that's a good. I think
he's
that's
a super wild card, but he fits there.
They're building around Scotty
Barnes. If he can stay out of Nick Nurse's doghouse.
I love the way they're putting together all that length in Toronto.
They got nothing but arms and legs over there.
And
everybody's like 6'9", 7'2".
Whoa, Lou Dort re-signed with Oklahoma City. 5 years, $87.5 million.
Well, here's the thing.
5 years, 87. Has he shot 40% from the field?
Yeah.
That might not be.
From three? From three? Yeah, yes. From three? He shot like 42, right?
From the field, he shot 40.4% last season.
From the field?
Yeah.
Not from three? You sure?
From three, he's never shot. He shot 33 for his career. He shot 34% 2 seasons ago.
Here's what I'm thinking. Because, Sam Presti.
He's one of these basketball hipster favorites.
He is. And they're like, oh, Oklahoma City, they know what they're doing. Damn, they signed Dort. Can I get him in a trade? You're gonna move off that deal.
Dort, here's the thing.
In a year, he moving off that deal.
If you combine Dort and SGA, you're at around $40-something million. You can get into some serious discussions with people. So,
speaking of
contracts are traded before players in the NBA. I feel like when the Heat signed Duncan Robinson, I said, oh, he's gonna get traded like within the first couple of years of that deal. Davis Bertans got traded. Lou Dort's going to get traded also. He almost got traded.
Speaking of the Oklahoma City Thunder, that's a destination that Sean Marks would love to trade with. Send Kevin Durant back to the Plains to play with SGA and whatever the hell else down there.
We were talking about this in the spaces. SGA will probably have to be part of the deal. But in terms of who can assemble the best offer, Oklahoma City has to be up there because they have they could throw 10 picks. If they wanted to.
They got the picks, they got the cap space, they got everything.
Now they have Lou Dort.
Can you send Durant somewhere he doesn't want to go?
You could, because if you're the Nets, you say, look, hey, Sam, you got a relationship with Kevin from back in the day. Sell him on the idea because we like your package the best. You got to sell him because we like your deal.
We'll see. I think that, look, a lot of this is like you can sit there and say, Katie has not been a good GM. I'm agreeing with Jarod on this as well, too. But like a lot of this to me, as I said in the chat, a lot of this to me is an indictment on Kyrie. Nobody wants to play with him. He's not worth the trouble. That's what it tells me here. This is what all this tells me. Nobody wants to play with this guy. I know Nets fans right now, they're mad. They're mad at KD. They're like, FKD and all this stuff. But some of y'all got to pump the brakes.
The Nets called Kyrie's bluff, right? They said, okay, Kyrie, you'd opt out. Find a sign and trade partner.
He wasn't about that life.
No. He tried to find a sign and trade partner. Nobody wanted his ass. Nobody. They were like,
well,
we good.
I guess what I'm saying is when I said he was about that life is knowing that nobody wanted his ass, and he still wasn't gonna walk away from that 36 million. You feel what I'm saying? Like he wasn't gonna do that.
Trying to front like, oh, well, I'm gonna walk and take the mid-level from the Lakers. I'm like, no, you ain't.
And other people I've heard from, and Brian Windhorst talked about this on his podcast, said they were still hearing whispers that Kyrie still could come in and cause trouble in training camp. And
I mean, of course he could.
Right. Yeah, right. I know, which is like, whatever. But you think Kevin Durant wants to stick around for more nonsense? No, and I don't blame him. It's the same reason James Harden didn't want to stick around for nonsense. I couldn't blame him either. I don't blame any of these guys for not wanting to stick around for his nonsense.
Murph, you played ball in college, right, Murph?
Yeah, for a year.
All right. So imagine, college is different, I know, because the coach is in charge, whatever. But like, just, you use your basketball mind, think about it. Practice is done, right? You in the locker room, whatever. Kyrie comes back in that motherfucker and is like, Murph, you, B, Dex, drop back on the court. We got here to run. Like,
yeah, but here's the thing.
Like,
I can't even imagine like players like going along with that.
Who are you talking to?
Like, yeah, I find that hard to imagine.
He probably talking to the rookie.
Like you'd be like, what's he talking about? Like, yeah, I'll be right there.
And you leave his ass out.
Yeah,
but an interesting thing about that, like, which was kind of like before this KD thing happened, I was interested in Patty Mills, what he was thinking, and the fact that he didn't re-up. And to me, that you're thinking like, yeah, he doesn't want to be a part of this like crazy.
Patty knows. Patty's a culture guy, and being around. Think about it. Patty's been with the Spurs for most of his life. Then he got to come to this shit show. He was like, oh hell no, get me the hell out of here. So and remember, what did Kyrie say before they even hired Nash? We don't even need a head coach. I could be a head coach. I'm like, oh shit. Once he started that bullshit,
he opens his mouth, and listen. I feel bad, like Kyrie is a person. I don't hate on him.
Who are we feeling bad for?
Like I feel bad, like just constantly having to diss this dude.
No,
I feel bad
constantly.
I don't feel bad. I feel bad like constantly. Like every time he comes up, I just have to say something negative about the dude.
But it's true.
It is. But
earned it.
It's like
I told you, he's Stephon Marbury with a ring, bro.
I mean, Brian, to your point.
I used to protect Marbury. I know
guys,
this Marbury.
Gotta protect Brooklyn, man.
What is the conversation if Kyrie doesn't have a ring? What are we saying about him?
Oh, please.
He's Stephon Marbury. Like,
and also, you go back and I had to go back and
Marbury was absurdly talented. Yeah, he's a better passer than Kyrie, for being honest. But like,
of course, a better. He was more of a pure point guard. But when I had to go back and look at Kyrie, since 2017, he hasn't done anything in the playoffs. He's a regular season show guy. You know what I'm saying? Like he'll put up numbers against Orlando and Charlotte, 60 and 50 against them. But come playoffs, in Boston in the playoffs, he laid an egg in Boston in the playoffs. They collapsed. They lose 4 straight.
And he was the freshest player. He ain't played damn near all season. He had the most energy in the
tank. Worth.
And what did he do the last 3 games of Boston? He wasn't doing anything.
Anything. Not worth
anything.
It. Yeah.
So you're telling me that he's even on the court, he's not worth it.
Yo, what's the matter? What's the matter, Brian?
He's mad. Dedmon's back on the Heat.
He is.
Dwayne Dedmon.
I did not think that. Wait, but from who? Who reported that?
Who reported that? Your boy Shams.
My boy.
2 year 9 million. That is your boy. Best newsbreaker in the game.
I mean, I hear what Windhorst is saying about
2 years, $9 million.
This idea of the Lakers would have the package for KD and Kyrie, because again, the Lakers are a poorly run franchise, so of course they will do dumb shit like that.
But what package? What are they giving?
Yeah, I don't see it.
What I'm assuming is Anthony Davis, Russell's expiring. Literally their future. And here's the thing: if you're Sean Marsh, you think about it, because the Lakers are going to be terrible in 2 years. Control of their draft for the next 7 years, where you get all their number 1 picks, because the Lakers are going to be trash. Like that's a fact. If both those guys go there, they're going to be trash in 2 years. Literally trash. So
they probably still won't win.
There's something to this Dwayne Dedmon thing being 2 years, $9 million, and I feel like it's filler for a potential trade. Victor Oladipo possibly also, though I think it seems like he's coming back. Greg Sylvander, who's been on the Ain't Hard to Tell podcast before, and
Yes.
is very plugged in with the Miami Heat more than most national people, says that Miami has formally submitted a trade offer for Donovan Mitchell to the Utah Jazz, which is something that I feel like everyone up here has seen coming, but it's been more noise, and now this seems like there's something to that.
Well, the other thing I want to push this to is like, where do we think KD can actually go? Because we're watching all these early moves that's going on here, but where will KD go? You're hearing Phoenix.
If the Heat are making offers for Donovan Mitchell, probably is not Miami.
No.
And Miami, honestly, like if they're not going to,
I think Phoenix makes the most sense in terms of as a trade partner and where he actually could probably.
That would obviously be a
but
sign.
reportedly, they don't even want
Ayton
DeAndre Ayton like that.
Well, and the Nets want Booker, and I'm like, if you're
Booker,
KD, no, like, but you're going to a team that you're like, I can't. If Booker's leaving, then what are we doing? Like, this is, you know what I mean?
He wouldn't want to go there.
Right.
And Bobby Marks said that they can't even, like Phoenix, like for some salary cap reasons, can't even put together the DeAndre Ayton, Cam Johnson, Mikal Bridges dream package with picks or whatever the case may be.
Why?
So I don't know what the
I think they can.
are.
No, they can do that.
No, he explained for some reason like they couldn't do that either. I don't know what it was, but yeah.
It might have to involve a third team where one of them goes somewhere like for 10 seconds and then moves because
check his Twitter
stupid
account.
ass like NBA rules.
And then there was also the loophole where because the Nets have Ben Simmons, who we assume they're keeping, they can't take Bam back in the trade, even if Miami wanted to go that route.
Right.
Thaddeus Young back with the Raptors, 2 years, $16 million dollars.
Yeah, he didn't look that good with Toronto like last year when he played.
He didn't when he had the time. But listen, I think Phoenix makes a lot of sense. I think there'll be a lot. This is one point that Murph makes that I actually do agree. If Durant's traded, or when he's traded at this point, the Nets will get back something good, and the Nets are not in a terrible position. Let's say they get back DeAndre Ayton and sign the trade, and now you're building a team around, and I don't love this guy, but Ben Simmons and DeAndre Ayton.
They re-signed Seth Curry. They got, Joe Harris is healthy.
They're not going to be bad enough to
they're
be really bad.
They're going to contend for a playoff spot. That is
they can contend for a playoff spot, but they also have a ton of assets and picks that they'll have. Remember, they still got picks from the James Harden deal. They'll still have picks from what.
Contending for the playoff spot matters because of the swaps, right? They don't want to be terrible because then Houston gets that pick.
And whatever they do, they want to get picks back. The picks
Yes.
the picks that they gave up in the Harden trade and all that, they need to replenish those.
Mm-hmm.
This Royce O'Neal signing, that had to be before they knew Kevin Durant was.
Well, if you think about it, though, it makes sense. They got rid of the first round pick because they knew we're not going to be bad this year. You only get Royce because you're like, no, we have to be competent and make the playoffs. Because if we're bad, again, that's Houston gets that, right? And we don't want that. We want to be mediocre, contending. We want to be like how we were before, 42-40, trying to make the playoffs.
What does Royce O'Neal get you? I mean, he's a defender.
He's a defender. He can shoot a three, right? Shoot open three. He can't hit an open three.
He won't hit a big three. I tell you that much. He won't hit a big three. He might hit a three in the regular season.
I'm about to hop to another stream, so let me just say this, because this is fucking crazy. I need to figure out what's going on with this Dwayne Dedman shit.
You're worried about Dwayne Dedman.
These motherfuckers are up to
caught
something.
up on Dwayne Dedman.
I did not. I thought there was no chance he was coming back. He's getting 2 years, $9 million.
I mean, the Godfather probably got a movie working on.
That's what I'm saying. I need to talk to Greg and see what the fuck is going on.
Dedman is solid.
Dedman's solid. He's on that Udonis Haslam training program. He's going to be the next Udonis Haslam.
He actually can hit a three.
He can. He actually could. He just at the end they got a little rough there in the playoffs, and they couldn't play him. But look, they're up to something. I feel like they always are, and if they are, you're gonna hear me talk about it. See you guys. I'm out of here.
All right, Brian's out of here. We were wrapping a bit. There's been about 30 deals in this first half hour. Which again, Jarod, you think there's been a little bit of tampering? You think teams might have been talking before?
Right? Like, I mean, the fact that a flurry of deals starts at 6 o'clock. Like, come on, people. You really think that this shit started at 6 o'clock? Come on. They've been talking about this for months. That's how this game works.
Do you guys think there's going to be any more? You think there's another star? Is it Donovan Mitchell? Who's the star player that's likely to change
Rudy,
teams?
Who knows?
Or season?
Yeah, Rudy, or both of them. Who knows? Yeah.
And Danny Ainge, he loves to wheel and deal. So
does he? Or he likes to talk about wheeling and dealing and then never actually wheel and deal?
No, I mean, with those draft picks he didn't. But how did he get? He got Tatum. Remember how did they get in the position?
That was the Nets. Yeah, that was a
fleecing. actually.
And the Nets recovered from that. And they recovered from that, right? So they've shown they're going to do it again. You know, a lot of people talking about you got to fire Sean Marks. Like, that's not what I see. Here's here's what I see. Did he make a mistake giving the keys to those two guys? Yes. You get them, but you say, no, my friends, we decide what we're doing here. I'll consult you.
Right.
But we make the final decision. And that's where he made the mistake by giving them, again, he let them fire Kenny Atkinson because of the Jared Allen, DeAndre Jordan. He let them bring DeAndre Jordan over, which is a colossal mistake, right? He let him trade away the future for James Harden. He let them bring on Steve Nash, who is a bad coach, because Steve Nash will let them do whatever they want when they're on the floor. Like that. So those were the reasons you did bad things. He's learned from that now. Going forward, this is how we decide what we're doing here.
What's up with Steve Nash's future?
Look, if Nash still wants to coach, he might actually like this situation better. Guys that might actually listen to him, right? And actually run some things, might work out fine.
Yeah, it's funny. Somebody tweeted something earlier today, and they were like, I feel bad for Steve Nash. And I was like, why?
He good.
Like, Steve Nash once skipped a lot of steps to get to this job. Let's be honest about that. He skipped a lot of steps to get to this job, which happens for star players from time to time. And then he had to deal with superstar talent where he wasn't really in control to handle of said personalities. But I actually think Steve Nash, who has not looked amazing to me as a coach, could be better in a situation like you're saying, Jarod, where he's coached some young players who might actually listen and won't say stuff like, not that they said it to him, but playing DeAndre Jordan over Jared Allen, that kind of stuff. He won't have to deal with that nonsense anymore, and it might be better. This is the point I think you made in the group chat earlier, Jarod. If the Nets are, quote, taking control of their organization back and finally starting to, because that's the real establishment of culture to me. It's not just the winning. It's like, yo, this is how we do things. And either you deal with that or you don't. And here's the thing. I don't really kill the Nets as much for getting these guys in and then caving at some point. Like, it hurt them, but I can't kill them. And that's the point I think Murph is making. You know why? Because they're the Nets. Right? Like before what you are, that nothing matters. So before you're desperate, what matters now is what your point is. Did you learn from this? Right. I can't kill Sean. I do not think Sean Marks is a terrible GM. I'm actually with Murph. I actually think he's a really good GM.
He's very good.
I think he's done pretty good in terms of trades, right? Did he not set the culture? And he knows better because he was in San Antonio.
And according to reports, if it were up to them, he probably would have caved some more. He probably would have given Kyrie and KD what they wanted because he knew he already did that from the start. The reports are that the owner's side, is not having it anymore.
That's the piece I was going to go to, Murph.
Yeah,
owners don't mind paying the luxury tax if the team is winning. Right. They are now in the repeater tax. And Josiah's like, first of all, at the end of the day, Josiah's a businessman. He's like, why am I paying repeater? And the repeater tax is punitive. We know that, right? You know what the Warriors tax bill is going to be this season? Ridiculous. But Joe Lacob like, cool, because we won a title. This dude like, we got swept in the first round. Hell no, I'm not paying no repeater tax for this shit.
Right. We got swept in the first round, so it's not working on the court.
Right.
And I got to deal with ridiculous statements being made by Kyrie.
Yes.
The negative publicity of not getting the vaccine.
Exactly.
Just all this
not
stuff.
worth it.
It makes sense for him to put his foot down.
It makes a ton of sense. And you think about Josiah, somebody who's been a successful businessman who's worked hard to get where he wants. And then you're right, Murph. You're gonna pay the repeater tax, and you got a guy who doesn't want to show up to work, which is everything that you're against.
Yes.
Everything that Josiah is against, and this guy's not showing to work. So here's what I will say in terms of culture and leadership. Kudos to Josiah. If Josiah said, that's it, I had enough, I can't deal with this, maybe he talked to KD and was like, what you want to do? Because we got to change stuff here. KD might have said, best for me to bounce. I personally don't kill KD for bouncing. I just think all of this is hilarious. I don't kill him for bouncing.
I don't know what is he doing? Like, what's his thought process here? Like, he just doesn't care. Get me. So he really is right, and it makes sense to a certain extent. He's 33, 34. He just wants to win a championship. He doesn't care where it is.
I mean, but the thing is, I think again, it's a problem about trust, and I don't know where it's coming from. Because he played for two organizations that are really good, right? Like the Warriors and the Oklahoma City Thunder. His problem with the Thunder, of course, is their owner was cheap. Clay Bennett wasn't trying to spend no money.
Right.
And the whole James Harden thing, $5 million. Don't need to rehash that. That was messed up. The Warriors, perfect organization, right? That they do the right thing. You ain't in charge, but they do what's right, right? Because they know what the long-term goal is. For whatever reason, he didn't trust the Nets to do the same, which I don't understand, because the reason you were attracted there in the first place was because of the stuff they did. So why didn't you let Marks do his thing and build right around y'all?
And also, you signed the contract. If you what happened all of a sudden that you don't trust him? Like if you didn't trust him, hold out.
Right.
If you needed Kyrie with you, you needed Harden with you.
Right.
Hold on. Don't sign the contract yet.
That's fair.
I get the OKC thing. You were young. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to win a championship. You were doing everything you could. You switched teams, whatever. You went to Golden State. People had a problem with that. I didn't really have a big problem with that. You get it done. You get it done in Golden State. I understand why people say, "Oh, well, you haven't really proven that you're one of those." And remember, we're talking about one of those all-time great 5-7 players who were able to like carry teams to finals for the most part. You're not one of those guys. Now, if you care about that, I don't know if you care or not, but you leave. If you didn't care, I would think you would just stay with Golden State. Right. But obviously, he wanted to show something, build something of his own. Right. So you go somewhere else, and then the instant that something gets rough, you're out again. Like what are you doing?
Let me just play. I want to hear what you have to say, Murph. I'm gonna just play a little devil's advocate there. That kind of ties into what Jarod said. What if it's that a case of like he learned from these previous two experiences, right? Because you take OKC, you take the Golden State experience. We know that Kevin Durant did not. This has come out. He had been reported. He did not feel fulfilled after winning those championships in Golden State. And then he came here and tried to do in Brooklyn and tried to do it on his own as the guy here, per se, and build it on his own. But now he has the experience of a cheap owner, which Jarod mentioned in OKC. He was a part of a good culture that he seamlessly fit in Golden State. And now he's looking. So he has a good perspective of like what it is and what it's not. So maybe now he's like, this ain't it. I'm out. That's my only logic to why he did. Does it make it, to your point, though, Murph, you signed the extension, right?
If you didn't trust him, why'd you sign it?
Why'd you sign it? But however, we know the years don't matter for these top 5 guys. Top 5 guys are going to be like, screw the years. You're going to send me wherever I need to go or wherever I think I could win. I get all that too. But I think the extension point is fine because what I think you're saying, Murph, is the doubt did not come in the last week. Kyrie's nonsense did not go on in the last week. You knew about this if you want to just take it to this year, you had this whole season to look at this, which is when you signed this 4-year extension. And you saw everything that went on with Kyrie, with Harden, all of that. So I'm actually saying, KD, you have a vast experience of knowledge from all your stops throughout the NBA. You should have either known this before you signed the extension. It's hard for me to believe. I guess what I'm saying is I agree with both of the points you're making. It's hard for me to believe that KD did not know Kyrie was on some other shit for a long time. And it's hard for me to think that. I'd like to know, what is it about the Nets organization that made him not trust it or say, I got to go this way?
And that's a great point. Let's hear from him. Maybe we'll hear from him and get his perspective. Maybe, right? We might hear, and then he might have a perfectly good explanation that everybody or some people understand, some people don't, whatever. But my thing also is what it looks like, at least to me and to others who I've heard, have a similar opinion, is that Josiah took control. Mm-hmm. Maybe Marks, but through Josiah, realized he had to take control, and kind of squeezed Kyrie and KD. And now he's like, no, I'm not with that. You're taking control away from me. Like I can't. You're not going to do what I say anymore. You're not going to sign Kyrie we were a package deal. It's not anymore. I don't have the power. Get me out. That's not what I signed up for. So okay, cool. That doesn't look good, but whatever. Even if that's the case, what about the next spot? So okay, so say you go to Phoenix. They were already in the finals. You can't pull that. Can you? Maybe you can. You're gonna pull that with them,
right? Can't
do
that.
You need all the power. Like what's going on here?
No, I like that.
I think that's that's a really good point in terms of which is, I think, actually very likely and logical in what happened here, right? Like Josiah, which I think I'm giving him credit. I know we all are. Josiah taking back control here is a good thing. Somebody had to be the freaking adult in the room here with all this stuff.
I was just going to go there.
On.
You two have kids. When you allow your kids to run amok and do whatever they want, and then you try, and it goes on for years, and then you try to instill discipline and change it, how'd that go?
I mean, I don't operate my household like that, so I don't know nothing about that.
I've seen it though. I've seen
it.
Why don't you operate your household that way, Dexter?
Because I've seen it go horribly wrong for other people. I've seen when people have had their kids doing the Kyrie stuff, and then before you know it, the kids are telling you what to do. The kids are telling you when to go to bed. They're doing all this stuff, and I don't feel like, I think Murph would attest to this too. I know Murph's not this. I'm not a tyrant parent. I'm not about you gotta blah blah blah. But I think there has to be some order. There has to be adults clearly in the room, right? Which is my point.
So when you tell Katie and Kyrie they in charge, and then you say, no, you're not no more.
Right. But that's why I like.
And that's kind of natural, right? You can't even, until you guys point from the beginning, it's hard to blame Kyrie and KD once you gave him that power.
Should never have done it in the first place, right? That's the idea.
No, that's why I like your. I know Murph, you're saying it's a theory, but that's why I like your theory on that, because it makes a lot of sense, just even in a psychological standpoint. Like, yes, you gave him the power, and then what do you expect to do? You expect him to sit there when you take it away to be like, okay, no,
right?
No, because and it goes to my point I said before. KD knows that he was part of a culture. He could never have pulled that stuff in Golden State. So when he had the freeness, which obviously every player should, to go and do what he wanted to do, he could do that. This is not a free agent decision, guys. Now, I'm not saying this to our audience, not to you, because y'all know this is not a free agent decision. This is him asking for a trade after just months ago. He agreed to an extension. And to Murph's point, you know you've had all the power in the organization. What you says go. Oh man, you want DeAndre Jordan? Sure. Whatever you say, boss. Now Josiah is probably saying, what I would love to know from Josiah, what was the tipping point for him? I think some of it is money.
We know who it is. We know who it is.
Yeah. I think part of it is money, which Jarod brought up, right? Paying the repeater tax. And not having won, and then because people are willing to pay and deal with things if they're winning. If Kyrie was doing this nonsense winning, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
If Kyrie was averaging 26 in the playoffs or something like that,
and showing up, you cool.
And showing out. I mean, you take some of that.
You'll deal with it.
Yeah, you deal with it.
You don't show up in 3 games and you have 10 points and 3 assists in like game 2 or something like that. Like, nah, we ain't going for what you're talking about in the press conference. Like, what are you talking about? Who are you?
For Durant, remember that report that came out that was like, oh, Durant is upset that the organization didn't take the time to get to understand Kyrie. Understand what? He's a lunatic. Okay.
Yes, but
this isn't.
I hope that's not true. I hope he didn't really say that.
This isn't your I don't know, the number 75 employee on the BSE global depth chart, right? This ain't the communications coordinator, and shout out to all, we love them all over there, right? This ain't the comms coordinator who's making like 40 grand a year. Like, no, this is a high level functioning employee who wants to make $240 million. And I don't know if you're coming to work and you want me to invest my resources in that?
Right.
Hell no. Like, are you crazy? Are you high?
You brought up that report, Jarod, and I remember a couple of years ago, this was right before, or this came out after they signed with the Nets, but Chris Haynes had spoken to Kevin Durant before he made that decision, and he was talking about him and Kyrie teaming up, and he said, yeah, the media he was talking about didn't really understand Kyrie in a certain way. Like the media didn't understand Kyrie.
Ain't none understand.
Now you're hearing the same thing and saying ownership didn't get a chance to understand him. I'm going to be blunt about this, and I don't care who cares about this. There's some things that are cut and dry for me. Here's number one. Either you care about public health or you don't. Kyrie showed me that he didn't. Number two, either you show up to work or you don't. Kyrie didn't care about none of that. My point being in this is Josiah is somebody who shows up to work. He's known that. And as an owner, I think that's where he couldn't get down.
I agree. I think only way you're an owner and you let this stuff slide as if you're an absent owner.
Mhm.
You know, if you don't
Mhm.
really, you're not really involved, you don't
Mhm.
care, you know,
Mhm.
whatever. Just give it to the GM, like just make it work. But if you're actual hands-on owner who has some smarts, you're not going to deal with this kind of thing.
Right, which from all accounts he is.
And with Kyrie, I know, anti-vax people who did not want to get the vaccine, who still thought he was a clown. You know what I'm saying? Like what? Like, if I could make $40 million, I'm taking the vax. That's what they told me.
Right.
People to this day who have not taken it. You know what I'm saying? Who told me, well, if they're going to pay me $30 million, I'll take it. So even to those people, you look crazy.
Right. And Kyrie was all about the sacrifices. And like Jarod said, the Nets came out here and called his bluff. And because here's the thing, if Kyrie was really all about this and wanted what he would not have picked up the option and then would have went and signed with the Lakers for the mid-level. And everybody would have been like, And I actually would say something, maybe Kevin Durant stays. Maybe Kevin Durant doesn't go and ask for a trade. Because you know what? Joe Tsai would have nothing to say. Joe Tsai would have been like, problem solved.
Kyrie
good
gone.
riddance. Good riddance. We don't have the problem here anymore. Now he would say to Key, maybe I'll think about it. I see your face.
No, but I just feel like I'm like I said at the very beginning, I'm disappointed in Kevin Durant because I had convinced myself that he wasn't going to do this. That he was not who people said he was. I've been fighting, with you guys. I play devil's advocate, or if you want to put him, if you want to say he's better than Larry Bird, I'll fight you on that. But I think he's a great player and a good dude. You know what I'm saying? And a smart guy. I've been fighting with people tell me, he's never been a leader. He's not a leader. I'm like, what are you talking about?
I've been to the finals like multiple.
I've seen him act like a leader on the court. I see how he talks to. I see how he talks to other guys. Like he's a leader.
I don't think that stuff is fair.
But the way he just did this, it'd be a different situation even if he let it play out.
Right.
See what happened with Kyrie. See what was around him. See what they did in free agency. See, blah, blah, blah. And then, or beginning of the season and they're garbage or something. And then he asked for a trade. That makes more sense. But just to come out now, right, 2 days after the Kyrie situation.
Well,
it looks crazy to me.
It makes it seem like it's about power. That's what it makes it seem.
And what it also tells me is he don't got no faith in Ben Simmons. That's also what that's telling me.
How could you? Really?
That's telling me that
I like Ben Simmons, but I got to see him on the court for like 2 months before
I'm with you, but this ties into my thing with Kevin. And again, I hate to do this, but the difference between him and Stephen Curry in that way. Don't you think if the Golden State Warriors, for whatever reason, somehow figured out a trade and they got Ben Simmons, what would Steph do? Open up his arms. Come on, Ben. We got you. We gonna figure this out. And it's not a knock on Kevin in that way. That's just Steph's personality, right? Steph's just a welcoming, open. We gonna make sure you get to be the best version of you. Because look how they hyped up fucking Andrew Wiggins this year. Every time in the press conference, Wiggs a bucket. That dude could score 25 a night if we let him do it, right? And what's that for? That's to get his confidence up. And Wiggins is like, damn, Steph Curry think like that about me from Steph. Right. Like, people don't realize that. That matters to guys. Right. That makes Wiggins feel good about himself.
Right.
KD, man, fuck Ben Simmons. I mean, you know what I mean? So
Steph, totally different dude. And there are a lot of guys like that, team for, but and we've talked about this in the chat before. And you can't even really blame KD for that, right? Like when you look at Golden State, you look at Steph Curry, he wasn't always the number one guy. He wasn't an elite, he wasn't the elite prospect. Even Klay Thompson was what, number 11 pick or something like that.
Draymond was second round.
Draymond second round. These guys, they're not they never had that diva mentality or never had the diva thing pushed on them. KD was always the top guy in his class. Top pick. Top 2 pick. So it's a different situation. But regardless of why it happens, it is what it is.
That's a great point too, because what you're also mentioning there, Murph, when you talk about this, and you and I have both been around high school, college basketball a lot, you see this from a young age, especially in this era we are with name, image, likeness, obviously social media and stuff like this. Some of these dudes ain't never been told no. And if Joe Tsai came here and said no, it goes to Jarod's point of the parenting thing. If you won't never tell your kids no, they're looking at you like, why?
They don't even know what that word means. No,
don't know what it means. And no owner has probably ever said to Kevin Durant, no.
Right, and it goes back to the Golden State, right? You said he couldn't do that at Golden State.
No way.
We all know he couldn't do that.
Could not.
So maybe this is what he wanted. He wanted opportunity to do whatever the hell he wanted to do.
How's that working out for you, Kevin? How's that looking right now? Not so great, is it? And that's the thing, though.
Hopefully he learned something. We'll see.
You would.
I hope so.
I love that point you brought up, though, Murph, about like not being the guys and all that, because it brought me back to an interview and that him and Steph did when he was at Golden State, and it was at ESPN. And I remember Kev being like, man, I remember the first time I saw you, like, whatever. He's like, man, you wasn't nice back then. Like, and just like the way, like, he was talking about, like, I mean, you wasn't nice. Like, I mean, you're nice now, but you wasn't. And it's like that thing you talk about, Murph, right? Where Durant's always been either the 1 or 2 guy in his class, 1 or 2 guy, right? So it's like there's a certain level of expectation and bravado and way of which you carry yourself when you've always been there. Steph having a scrap from Davidson, right? Duke didn't want him. None of these, his dad's school didn't want him. Like, he's like, man, I'm gonna just work and bust my ass. And now I am the guy. That's a different feeling and a different mentality when you have to go that route versus I've always been expected to be this guy.
And it's real. The dynamic between those two athletes in those positions is real. I've seen it even with like Donovan Mitchell, right? Mm-hmm. Now, and think about it. We're talking about guys who still went lottery. So you still should be like, wow, like that's crazy. But when you compare it to the guys who went, Donovan kind of came out of nowhere to some extent, I think, because he played baseball, right? So he wasn't really on the radar. He got hurt when he was in high school. Yep. He kind of jumps on the scene. And then there were guys like, Malik Monk and other guys. I just remember at that time when he was in the lottery, they look at him like, you ain't on my level. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I've been top 5 for like, for 8 years now. Like, and then even when you really got to get to that point and outplay those dudes for like 5 years before they give you the credit you deserve. You know?
It's wild, man. It's real.
Got some news around the Nets. Patty Mills will be returning to the Nets on a 2-year, $14.5 million. Yeah,
Patty's like, you know what? Sean talked to Patty like, Patty, look, the problems are gone, man. Kyrie out of here. We setting him out. Don't worry. You ain't got to see that dude no more. Yeah, you ain't got to see none of them dudes no more. You're like, we cool. And you know what Patty's going to do? Patty's going to say, Ben, we got you, buddy.
Well, they need him for
Open up my arms. Exactly. Listen, it's just, and again, I'm not knocking K for this because Kevin Durant's my guy. But basketball is a team sport. And if Murph, we cover the Nets, you hear a lot of Kevin Durant talking after games, whatever, interviews, all that. How does he always frame things? You got to work on your game as an individual, then bring it to the collective, right? It's always about, no, I'm going to go do this thing, and then bro, we trying to win together, right? There have to be moments where you sacrifice certain things and you trust in your guys, and you can't be mad when they fuck up. You have to give them the space to mess up because they're not as good as you. They know they're not as good as you. You don't need to tell them. They know that. But you got to give them the room to fail and then say, it's all right, man. I'm going to come back to you again. But that's just not in his DNA, right? Like he just doesn't. And it's not a fault. It's just who he is as a person because he knows in his mind, well, we wouldn't fail if you just give me the ball. And it's like, well, yes, because you are that dude. But he doesn't have that, again, where Steph's like, it's fine. I don't need to be on the ball. I can be off. It's fine. I'll get it back. Even if I don't, I draw so much attention, we'll be fine. And that's just the difference, right? And that's just not his makeup. And when you're trying to build a team, you can't have that mentality and build a team.
Even that scrappiness that Steph plays with. Like I was talking about this recently with a friend of mine, who played college ball. Like even the way Steph runs hard, like he runs hard whether he's getting the ball or not. So he's he cuts and runs hard, whether he gets it or not. And that goes back to him not always being the man. You know what I'm saying? Like he had to bust his ass to get the ball. He had to do this to get the ball. They weren't just going to give it to him because of his name or whatever. Even though he cut, which is wild because he's a second generation.
Exactly.
Guy. You wouldn't think it would have been like that. But
no, you're right. No, I think you guys are absolutely right about that stuff because, in terms of the team building, we look at these super alpha guys, LeBron, Durant, as Jarod has brought up many times before. Those guys have not been good in terms of the team building. And I wonder if this moment around the Nets is a learning moment for a lot of teams in this league.
I would hope so. I would hope so.
But listen, stars are going to dictate things in this league. That is not changing. And it's not the problem. The problem is, do the teams have enough moxie and culture.
Backbone.
Do
you have backbone? Do you have a backbone?
You have a backbone. Joe Tsai clearly did here, right?
Can you say no when LeBron
can
James
you
is
say
staring
no?
down your neck? Can you like, no, we're not doing that? Clearly, the Heat could. Clearly, the Lakers can't.
And here's the thing: you like what you talked about with the Heat with LeBron James and how Pat Riley told him, "No, you're not getting rid of Spoelstra." It didn't even have to get to Mickey Arison. You understand what that culture is there?
Right.
Pat Riley is shutting it down like, nah, son, this is not what's going on. Right? And here's the thing. I'm not even killing Sean Marks. He's a first-time GM in this role. I don't think he's done a bad job, and I don't think he should lose his job. Anybody talking about that to me is nonsense. It's nonsense. He shouldn't lose his job. But he comes from a place where he knows the culture. But I think what we can't take out is the pressure that exists when you're coming into an organization that doesn't have a culture. Right. Because the expectations, and this is no shade to you Nets fans out there watching and listening, y'all were desperate because you're the Nets.
And also, they never won anything.
They never won anything.
Like Pat Riley had won a lot.
Of course, you get a chance to get Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving. Of course, you do that 100 times out of every time you do it.
I would do. And listen, grew up rooting for the Knicks. The Knicks haven't done anything either. If the Knicks had a chance to do it, they'd be desperate too.
No, they would have done the same exact thing.
They do the same exact thing, and it's because, and they might be in the same exact situation. This is not a clown the Nets moment,
right?
Because there's so many other teams that it would have got to this point. You're just changing the faces here. It's about, but what teams have to learn is look at these teams that are winning and it's consistent. As Jarod always says, it's the teams that have culture. And sadly, there's only like 4 to 5 of them that actually can say they've done it for a while. Actually, and there's probably like 2 of them that can say they're just building to doing something. Like Memphis looks like they could be on their way to beating that. Maybe. We'll see. I'm not ready to put them in that. Maybe. These teams ain't learning.
Yeah.
Like that's my thing. Are you going to learn? No owner that Joe Tsai should be put in that situation. And when Joe Tsai goes and sit in the owners meeting, he's going to look at all these other owners and be like, what y'all be doing when your stars come and tell you? Well, you got Ben Simmons doing what he did down in Philadelphia. Okay. And this guy said, no, not enough. I'm footing the bill on this. I'm paying the price. We're going to have some structure and or win. Or shit, at least if we're not going to do that, we're going to put an entertaining product out in the court, which if the Nets make this trades, and we'll see where KD goes, they can still do that. Yeah. They can still do that.
Your star players, of course you must consult them. You have to. The Warriors do that. Draymond and Clay and Steph, they consult them all the time. Bring them in and talk. But ultimately, Bob Myers and Joe Lacob do what they gonna do. Right? That's how it's got to be. Well, of course we have to consult you. You're the best. Hey, Kevin, we're thinking about potentially moving so-and-so we need some more depth on the wing and blah, 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 right? Like, this is who we're thinking about. What do you think of that guy? I mean, he can't get no buckets like me. Yeah, we know that, but give me a little more than that. Well, all right, cool. We'll take it under advisement. Thank you. Right? Which means, cool, I heard what you said, but if we and our scouting department, we've done our homework, we doing what we want to do. We just want to make sure you know what is what, right? Like,
before we get out of here, I'm gonna give 2 because people will be like, oh, well, you're always talking about the Heat or the Spurs. But recent example, we have to look no further in the Eastern Conference than the Celtics this year. At the beginning of this year, when the Celtics were around 500, there was talk of firing Ime Udoka.
Breaking up Jalen and Jason.
Break up Jalen and Jason. And I don't like giving credit to Brad Stevens and the Celtics, but you got to give him credit. They stuck the course. Nope, we believe in our coach, even when he called the players out. Marcus Smart had his back. That's also culture that matters in there too. And they got to the finals. And then let's look at the Warriors. The Warriors 2 years ago won 15 games, right? You don't think the veterans, Clay, Draymond, and Steph, you think they wanted to go try this out with young dudes? You think they were looking at Wiseman and like, y'all gonna get this done? Jordan Poole, you gonna get this done? Andrew Wiggins, maybe at first they didn't believe in getting this done, but to Jarod's point, Steph empowered Andrew Wiggins. And now look what you got out of Andrew Wiggins. They believed him in somehow. Jordan Poole, Gary Payton II. Those things are not by accident. They're not, the Warriors got lucky in it. No, man, that's culture building. And that starts with the top, because I'm sure Steph and those guys probably said, yo, let's go get Bradley Beal. And they were like, yeah, but that's going to make us defensively
to that
weaker.
point. So they brought Gary Payton II in, and they brought in Avery Bradley. Now, Avery Bradley has this like outsized defensive reputation, right? Of like, he's this great defender. When it was time to decide to cut who and sign who, the vet said, no, Avery Bradley. Bob Myers is like, are you high? it's Gary Payton II. I heard what you said. We going with GP2. How they feeling about that now? Yeah. But you see my point? Like, but they okay, Bob. You gave us our say. We said we think Avery Bradley, but we trust you. You think cool. Guess what? It's Gary Payton II, who, by the way, is going to be in line now for some big money. That right as part of that luxury tax. Again, it's about trust and belief in the people around you, right? And the Warriors have demonstrated that. Sean Marks, prior to, I mean, what he did to get them to relevance before Durant, that should have been all the trust he needed.
It was amazing what he did.
All the trust you need.
That cap space, getting them to come in the first place.
What other trust do I need than that? This team was horrendous, and the fact that you got to this point, I'm good.
Yeah. Now it's a great
point. Didn't even give them a chance. Didn't even give them a chance.
This version of the Nets that's about to be gone, KD. When you think about it, even business wise, it might be better just to somewhat start over, younger guys, get some guys in here, because we've been in that building, and even with KD, Kyrie, and whoever, that building is lacking in enthusiasm. And I don't know. I don't know why, but it's not popping in there. Okay. Yeah. So maybe you need a team that people can grow with, and
that was that Bucks series, Murph, when Durant was going off, and I was like, I mean, it was but I was like,
well, that's the elite of the elite. That's the elite of the elite games, But I'm talking about regular season or that Celtics series. That was some dead stuff.
Yeah. Okay. I just they recollect the draft picks and they rebuild to the draft, and they try to you find that homegrown star, right? Who you build up from within. And look, I don't know if Steve Nash is a player development guy. We know Kenny Atkinson was, clearly.
That's true.
Look, Joe Harris, Spencer Dinwiddie, D'Angelo Russell. Those dudes were on the scrap heap. D'Angelo Russell was a number 3. People were like, nah, man, that dude ain't got it. He figured it out, right? Got him. Yep. That dude was an all-star in Kenny Atkinson. All-star.
There you go.
Can you get someone like that who can develop because that's what you need, man. And later I'm not saying don't chase stars. What I'm saying is you got to do your due diligence. See, this is where that's also, I thought this was funny. Durant didn't even take a meeting with them. He just like, no, I'm coming. It's like, and I get it why they got excited, but it's like, you should have been like, wait, hold up. You ain't even show up here to talk to us. And
maybe that's because he knew he would have the power.
That should have been your first sign to be like, hold up, let me pump the brakes real quick. This man, I mean, I know it's Kevin Durant, but we ain't even the first time we heard of this is when we like, yeah, I'm just coming. It's like, wait, what? What you mean? That should have been your first sign, but
I don't know what he's doing, man. I don't know what he's doing.
I don't know, but it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a lot to talk about. There was a couple of deals. Lakers making some moves. They got Lonnie Walker, which I actually think was a good sign. I actually don't think it's a bad move because the Spurs took back his qualifying offer. They also signed Troy Brown Jr. Lakers on the scrap heap right now. And your boy Marvin Bagley, back with the Pistons, 3 years, $37 million. He played very well at the end of last season for the Pistons. So he can slot right in there at the 4 with Durant.
Pistons making the playoffs next year.
I'm not going to bet on that.
They can battle. They can battle.
They'll battle for the play-in. They'll battle for the play-in.
I say take the over on whatever their over.
I mean, you got to think Charlotte might take a dip.
What are they doing? Although I like Mark Williams a lot. I think he's going to be good. I do think he'll be good. But
I think he's kind of he needs a couple of years. I think.
And I hope Clifford can really,
I still don't understand that
going to listen to Clifford?
Yeah, he ain't going to listen to Borrego. He going to listen to Clifford?
I mean, that just seems like a huge clash right there.
It does.
What is Michael Jordan
I think we'll start hearing a lot more from his father next year.
LeVar?
Yeah.
God, that's
MJ the GOAT, but what is he doing down there in Charlotte, yo?
They just seem cheap. They just don't want to pay guys. I don't understand.
What is happening down there, man?
I don't know. I didn't understand
that. Bridges. What about the Bridges news?
Oh well,
with him getting arrested.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. They put out a statement on him today. I don't know, but
if the alleged victim doesn't file charges and doesn't go any further, I imagine some team will still offer him. So now if I'm the Grizzlies, because now I got Jaren Jackson Jr. issues, which is really bumming me out.
4 to 6 months.
4 to 6 months, man. That's so. What do I count? 4 months is December, right, Dex? July, August, September, October, November. No, November. Okay, so December will be July, August, September, October, November, December. So December will be 6, right?
Not too bad.
I mean, but damn, man.
If he stays on that schedule.
And that's all defense. And he was, I saw him working out, like doing like his offensive I was like, oh man, that offense is coming too. Like,
but now that sets back the work he could have put in on that and the development.
Which is gonna set him back now another year, which is gonna set the team back. You see,
right.
these are the domino effects, man. Like, so if you're Memphis, do you make, because they were talking about we can make a move and try to get Miles Bridges. Like, do you offer him something now? Now it's like, I don't know.
I guess you have to wait and see what happens here. But somebody like you said, he's going to get an offer. Oh, he probably, but he probably won't get what he would have gotten.
You think the arrest is going to be like, nah, we ain't, we
or at least it gives them an excuse
to pause.
Nobody wants to pay the money they don't have to.
Yeah. You're right.
We'll see. But look, it's already been an eventful start. This seems like Bryan said earlier, a lot of the mid-level deals we're seeing right now. You wonder where some of the bigger names are going, or if there's going to be any more trades, whether it's Donovan Mitchell, whether it's DeAndre Ayton. There'll be other stuff to go. The extension signed that we thought were going to be signed, I don't think there's been too much crazy stuff. I'm actually not too mad at what the Knicks have done, but I still need to see more. What else are they doing? That's what matters. That's what matters to me. Any final thoughts from you guys?
In the chat, Jarod, you said they won't send Durant to Utah. But I would take Donovan Mitchell though. I would take Donovan Mitchell.
Well, it depends, right? On like what else is in that Utah package, right?
He don't want to go there. He don't want to go there.
I mean, and then it's Utah. I mean, what we know about KD, I'm like, Salt Lake is nice. So I mean, Dexter and I have been up to Salt Lake.
Yes, we have. It ain't nice if you're playing basketball there. You don't want to live there, though, Jarod. You don't want to live there.
We've been to Park City, which is also quite nice.
Park City is nice. It's very nice.
But I mean, you go in and out for like a specific purpose. Sundance Film Festival, 2 weeks, I'm out. Like we going.
Yep. And understand, if you look like us, you ain't gonna see many people that look like you if they're not on that basketball court.
No.
You not see that. All right, that's it. That's it for this episode of the AR Tell the podcast. That is Jarod Hector. You catch him on the 7 for this podcast. I'll see him with me on the NBA Exchange. My man Jamal Murphy, Black Catologist. You can catch him his writing work in Inscape and also on the Bill Roden podcast. That is it. Free agency is going to be interesting. I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about this in the coming weeks. Summer League is coming up soon. Been a busy NBA season. Until next time, y'all. Peace.